What if the Jefferson nickels sitting in your pocket could be worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars? Today, we're counting down 7 incredible Jefferson 5 cents coins that have shocked collectors with their unbelievable auction prices. One of these coins has an absolutely jaw-dropping value you won't believe. Stay with us until the very end, because coin number 1 could completely change the way you look at your spare change. Let's get started.
First coin, the 1977 Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin from the United States of America with no mint mark, which typically means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and this coin is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series that started in 1938 and continues through modern times with extremely high mintages, especially during the 1970 series when the U.S. Mint produced massive quantities of coins for daily circulation across the country, and the 1977 no-mint mark nickel is one of those very common coins that entered circulation in huge numbers and was used heavily in everyday transactions, vending machines, and bank operations, which is why today, most surviving examples show clear signs of circulation such as surface wear, scratches, contact marks, and dullness from long-term handling, and the standard design remains the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, with a plain edge, as is standard for all U.S. nickels made from a copper-nickel alloy that provides durability but no intrinsic precious metal value. So in normal circulated condition, a 1977 Jefferson nickel is worth only its face value of 5 cents. And even in slightly better circulated grades, it generally remains a very low-value coin unless it is part of a special set or collection. But in numismatics, there are rare exceptions where even common coins can become extremely valuable due to unique conditions. And in some discussions within the collector community, the 1977 Jefferson nickel has been mentioned in connection with extremely high auction valuations reaching around $300,000. Although it is very important to understand that such values are not related to ordinary circulated coins with surface wear and scratches, but instead are linked to extremely rare and highly unusual specimens that may include major mint errors, dramatic production anomalies, or exceptional preservation states that have been professionally authenticated and graded by services such as PCGS or NGC, where experts carefully analyze strike quality, surface condition, luster, and rarity before assigning a numerical grade and sealing the coin for auction markets. And in very rare cases, a coin like this could become valuable if it exhibits significant minting errors, such as off-center strikes, wrong plancher errors, die breaks, or unique varieties that were never intended for general circulation. And if such a coin is also found in unusually high preservation condition with strong eye appeal and minimal damage, it may attract strong interest from advanced collectors who specialize in error coins or Jefferson nickel varieties, leading to competitive bidding in auction environments that can sometimes push prices into very high ranges. But it must be clearly understood that these cases are extremely rare and do not represent the typical 1977 Jefferson nickel found in circulation, which remains one of the most common coins in the United States and generally holds no significant numismatic value beyond its face value. And when we talk about surface wear, we refer to the natural result of years of circulation, where the high points of the coin, such as Jefferson's cheek, hair, and collar, become flattened, and Monticello's architectural details become less sharp, while scratches and small contact marks accumulate on the surface from constant handling and movement through commerce, and over time, some coins may also develop light toning due to environmental exposure, which can slightly change the color of the metal into darker or uneven shades, although toning alone does not guarantee higher value unless it is particularly attractive and natural. And collectors often inspect these coins under magnification to evaluate fine details such as strike sharpness, presence of cleaning marks, and overall eye appeal, because even small differences in condition can affect grading results and potential market interest. And while the plain edge design of the nickel does not add value, it helps confirm authenticity along with weight and diameter checks. And although most 1,977 Jefferson nickels are extremely common and widely available, the fascination in coin collecting comes from the possibility that rare mint errors or unusual varieties may still exist and could be discovered within ordinary circulation coins, but any claim of extremely high value must always be supported by certified grading and documented auction history, because without professional verification, such prices remain speculative and should be treated carefully, even though they continue to attract attention from collectors searching for hidden treasures in everyday pocket change. Next coin, the 1,997 Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin from the United States of America with the P Mint mark, which represents the Philadelphia Mint. And this coin is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series that began in 1938 and continues into modern times with massive production numbers, especially in the 1990 CEs, when billions of nickels were struck for everyday circulation across the country. And the 1997p issue is one of those very common modern coins that most people have handled in daily life, whether through pocket change vending machines or bank rolls, and in typical circulated condition, this coin shows normal signs of wear and tear, including scratches, surface abrasions, contact marks, dulling of the original mint shine, and sometimes minor edge damage due to years of handling and circulation. And the design of the coin remains the classic Jefferson portrait on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, with a plain edge as standard for all U.S. nickels, and it is struck in a copper-nickel alloy, which makes it durable but gives it no intrinsic precious metal value. So under normal circumstances, 1997p Jefferson nickel in circulated condition is only worth its face value of 5 cents, and even in better circulated grades, it usually only carries a small collector premium when sold in bulk rolls or sets, because it is not a rare date and exists in extremely large quantities. But in numismatics, value is not always determined by how common a coin is, because sometimes rare minting errors, extreme preservation quality, or unusual characteristics can transform even modern coins into highly sought-after collectibles. And when we describe a coin in wear and tear condition, we are referring to a piece that has clearly been used in circulation, where high points, like Jefferson's cheek hair and collar, show flattening, and Monticello's steps are less defined, and the surface may have fine scratches and dull areas caused by contact with other coins and objects over time, and sometimes natural toning develops, which is a gradual change in color caused by environmental exposure, such as air moisture and storage conditions. And this toning can appear as light brown golden or darker, uneven shades across the coin. And while toning alone does not guarantee higher value, it can sometimes enhance visual appeal if it is natural and attractive. And now, when we talk about the auction market and extremely high valuations, such as around $310,000 for a 1997p Jefferson nickel, it is very important to understand that such figures are not related to ordinary circulated coins, but instead come from extremely rare and highly unusual cases where a coin may have a major mint error or exceptional characteristics that make it unique in the numismatic world, and these types of coins are usually verified and certified by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, where experts examine the coin under strict standards, evaluating strike quality, surface condition, luster, rarity, and authenticity before assigning a numerical grade and sealing the coin in a protective holder for auction. And in rare situations, a modern nickel like the 1997p could potentially become valuable if it features dramatic mint errors such as wrong plancher, strikes off center errors, double die varieties, or experimental minting anomalies that were never meant for general circulation, and if such a coin is also found in unusually high preservation state with strong eye appeal and minimal damage. It can attract strong interest from advanced collectors who specialize in error coins or modern US varieties, and competitive bidding in auction environments can sometimes drive prices extremely high, especially when only one or very few examples are known to exist. But it must be clearly emphasized that these cases are extremely rare and do not represent the normal 1997p Jefferson nickel, which remains one of the most common coins in circulation, and even coins in fine circulated condition, with scratches and wear and tear, generally hold no significant numismatic value beyond their face value, and collectors often evaluate these coins by checking details such as sharpness of design elements, surface quality, presence of cleaning marks, or damage, and overall eye appeal, because even small differences in condition can affect grading outcomes and potential market interest, and the edge of the coin remains plain, which is standard for all nickels, but can still provide clues about handling and wear. And while most 1997p nickels are widely available and inexpensive, the excitement in coin collecting comes from the possibility that even modern coins can sometimes contain rare errors or unexpected variations that dramatically increase their value. But proper authentication is always required before any high-value claim can be trusted, because without certified grading and documented auction history, claims of extremely high prices remain speculative and should be treated carefully, even though they create interest and curiosity among collectors who enjoy searching through everyday change in hopes of discovering something truly rare and valuable hidden in plain sight. Next coin, the 1987 Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin from the United States of America with the D Mint mark, which indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint. And this coin is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series that began in 1938 and continued through the modern era with extremely high production numbers, especially during the 1980 years when millions upon millions of coins were minted for daily circulation, and the 1987D issue is one of those very common coins that most people have handled at some point in their lives, whether through pocket change or bankrolls, and in normal circulated condition. This coin is typically found with visible wear such as scratches, contact marks, surface abrasions, and dulling of the original mint luster, because it was heavily used in everyday transactions across the United States, and the design of the coin remains the classic Jefferson portrait on the obverse with Monticello on the reverse, and the edge of the coin is plain, as is standard for all U.S. nickels, and the composition is copper nickel, which makes it durable but not valuable, based on metal content alone. And when we describe a coin in fine, circulated condition, it means that the main design elements are still recognizable, but the finer details, such as Jefferson's hairlines and Monticello's steps, are worn down, and the surface shows clear evidence of circulation. And in many cases, toning can develop over time, which refers to natural discoloration caused by exposure to air moisture and environmental conditions, and this toning can range from light golden shades to darker brown or even uneven patchy coloration depending on storage conditions. And while toning does not automatically increase value, it can sometimes make a coin more visually appealing to collectors, especially if it is natural and attractive rather than artificial or damaged. And now, when we talk about market value, it is very important to understand that a normal 1987D Jefferson nickel in fine circulated condition is generally worth only its face value of 5 cents, or possibly a small premium in bulk collector lots, because it is not a rare date, and millions of examples exist in circulation, and even well-preserved circulated coins do not usually carry high value in the numismatic market. However, in rare and highly specific situations, collectors and auction discussions sometimes reference extraordinary valuations for coins like this reaching extremely high figures, such as around $320,000. But these valuations are not based on ordinary circulated examples, and instead are associated with extremely rare conditions, such as major mint errors, dramatic dye anomalies, or exceptionally high-grade mint state specimens that have been professionally certified and verified by grading services like PCGS or NGC, where experts evaluate strike-quality surface preservation luster and rarity before assigning a grade and sealing the coin in a protective holder for auction trading. And in those rare cases, a coin might display unique features such as a major striking error, double die characteristics of center strikes, or extremely rare production anomalies that were never intended to enter circulation. And these types of coins can sometimes attract intense bidding from advanced collectors who specialize in error coins or Jefferson nickel varieties, and this competitive demand can push prices to very high levels in auction environments. But it is extremely important to understand that such high valuations are not representative of normal 1987D nickels found in circulation and are only tied to rare authenticated specimens with documented uniqueness and strong collector demand. And when examining any 1987D Jefferson nickel collectors, carefully inspect the coin under magnification, looking for details such as sharpness of Monticello, steps, surface quality, presence of scratches or cleaning marks, and overall eye appeal, because even small differences in condition can significantly impact grading results and potential market interest. And while the plain edge of the coin does not add value, it helps confirm authenticity along with weight and diameter checks, and most coins from this year remain very common and are still widely available, making them accessible to beginners in coin collecting. But the fascination continues, because every coin has a small possibility of being an error or rare variety, which is why collectors continue to search through rolls and old collections, hoping to find something extraordinary and valuable, even though in most cases professional authentication is required before any high-value claim can be confirmed, and without verified grading and auction history, claims of extremely high prices should always be treated carefully as speculative rather than guaranteed market value. Next coin, the 1984 Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin from the United States of America with the D Mint mark, which represents the Denver Mint. And this coin belongs to the long-running Jefferson nickel series that started in 1938 and continued through the modern era with billions of coins produced for everyday circulation. And the 1984D issue is one of those high mintage coins that entered the economy widely and was used in daily transactions across the country, making it very common in circulated condition, where most examples show signs of wear, including scratches, surface abrasions, contact marks, and loss of original mint luster. And when we examine a coin in fine condition, it usually means that the major design elements are still visible, such as the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. But the finer details are worn down, and the surface has visible circulation marks. And in many cases, light toning develops over time due to environmental exposure, which can cause the coin to appear slightly darker or uneven in color. And the edges of this coin remain plain, without any reading, as is standard for all US nickels. And the composition is copper nickel, which gives it durability, but no intrinsic precious metal value. So in normal circumstances, a 1984D Jefferson nickel in fine circulated condition is only worth its face value of 5 cents, or at most a small collector premium when part of a set or roll. But in the world of numismatics, sometimes coins that appear very common can become extremely valuable under very rare conditions, such as major mint errors, die clashes off center strikes, wrong planchet errors, or exceptionally high-grade mint. State examples with strong full steps on Monticello and exceptional eye appeal. And in some rare and heavily debated cases, collectors and online auction discussions have speculated extreme valuations for unusual examples of modern Jefferson nickels, including figures that can reach into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, such as around $330,000. But it is very important to understand that such values are not representative of normal circulated coins and are only associated with extremely rare, authenticated error coins or unique specimens that have been certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, where experts evaluate strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and rarity before assigning a numerical grade and encapsulating the coin for market trading. And in most cases, a standard 1984D Jefferson nickel, even in fine condition with scratches, toning, and circulation wear, does not carry significant market value and remains a common collectible rather than a high-value investment piece. However, the excitement in collecting comes from the possibility that within massive mintage years, like 1984, there may still exist rare minting anomalies that were accidentally released into circulation and over time discovered by collectors who recognize their uniqueness and submit them for grading and auction exposure, where competitive bidding can sometimes drive prices very high, especially among specialized collectors who focus on Jefferson nickels or modern U.S. mint errors. And these high prices are usually tied to coins that are far different from regular circulated examples and often display dramatic visual differences or certified rarity status. And even though the plain edge design of the nickel does not contribute to value, it is still part of the standard US 5-cent coin structure and can help collectors verify authenticity along with weight and diameter checks. And when evaluating any 1984D Jefferson nickel, collectors carefully inspect the coin under magnification to identify small details such as doubling in lettering, unusual strike weakness, die cracks, or full step details on Monticello, because these features can significantly affect grading outcomes and market interest. And while most coins from this year remain extremely common and affordable, the hobby continues to attract attention because every coin has a small chance of being something unusual and potentially valuable. But serious valuation always requires professional authentication and documented auction history, because without verified grading, claims of extremely high prices remain speculative and should be treated with caution, even though they create excitement among collectors searching through everyday change, hoping to find a hidden rarity. Next coin, the 1971 Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin from the United States of America, specifically the version with the D mint mark, which indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint. This coin belongs to the long-running Jefferson nickel series that began in 1938 and continues to this day, and the 1971 issue is one of the early 1970 CE circulation coins that was produced in very large quantities for everyday use across the country. Most of these coins entered circulation immediately and were used heavily in daily transactions, which means that today the majority of surviving examples show signs of wear, scratches, and surface damage from handling. The standard design features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, with a plain edge as is normal for all U.S. nickels. The coin is made from a copper and nickel alloy, which gives it durability but no precious metal value. So under normal conditions, it is considered a common coin, worth only its face value of 5 cents, especially when it is circulated, scratched, or worn down from years of use. However, in the world of coin, collecting value is not always determined by metal content or circulation status alone. Sometimes extremely rare circumstances, such as minting errors, exceptional preservation, or unusual toning patterns, can dramatically increase a coin's desirability. When we talk about the 1971D Jefferson nickel in circulated condition with scratches and visible wear, it would typically be classified in lower to mid grades, such as good or fine condition, where the design is still visible, but details are softened and surface marks are obvious. Toning on such coins can appear due to oxidation over time, giving the surface a darker or sometimes rainbow-like appearance, depending on environmental exposure. Toning does not always increase value, but in some rare cases, attractive natural toning can make a coin more appealing to collectors. The idea of a 1971D Jefferson nickel reaching a value around $340,000 in today's auction market is not based on ordinary circulated examples, but rather on extremely rare and highly specific conditions that may include major mint errors, extraordinary preservation in mint state condition, or unique varieties that are certified by professional grading services. Companies like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins carefully and assign grades based on strike quality, surface condition, and overall eye appeal, and only coins with top-tier grades combined with verified rarity can attract serious high-end auction bids. In such cases, a coin might show flawless surfaces, sharp strike details, including fully visible Monticello steps, and strong original luster with unusual toning patterns that are naturally formed and visually striking. These factors combined can create strong demand among elite collectors who compete aggressively in auctions. But it is important to understand that such high valuations are extremely rare and not representative of normal 1971 Jefferson nickels found in circulation. Most coins from this year, even those in good condition, do not reach high monetary value and remain common collector items. Scratches, edge wear, and circulation damage significantly reduce their grading potential and therefore their market price. The edge of the coin is plain and does not carry any special value on its own, but edge condition can still help determine how well the coin has been preserved over time. In general, the more intact and clean the surface and details are, the higher the potential grade assigned by experts. Collectors often examine coins under magnification to identify small imperfections, doubling, or rare strike anomalies that are not visible to the naked eye, because sometimes even minor variations can turn a common coin into a valuable collectible. The fascination with coins like the 1971 Jefferson nickel comes from the possibility that a coin which looks ordinary at first glance may actually carry hidden rarity factors, but professional authentication is always required before any valuation can be trusted, especially when auction figures reach hundreds of thousands of dollars. Without certified grading and documented auction history, such values remain speculative and should be treated with caution. Still, the interest in Jefferson nickels remains strong because collectors continue searching through old coins, hoping to discover rare pieces that could change their value completely. Next coin, the 1973 Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin from the United States of America, a coin that on the surface looks very ordinary and common. But in rare collecting discussions and high-level auction speculation, it has been associated with extremely high valuation stories, reaching figures around $350,000 in today's market context. This coin is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series, which began in 1938 and continued through the 1970s, with massive production numbers for everyday circulation. The 1973 issue specifically was struck in large quantities, and most examples entered general circulation across the country, making it one of the more commonly found coins in pocket change, jars, and bankrolls. The coin carries no mint mark in this discussion, which typically indicates production at the Philadelphia Mint, and like all Jefferson nickels, it features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his famous estate, on the reverse. The edges of the coin are plain and not reeded, which is standard for all U.S. nickels, and the composition is a copper-nickel alloy, which gives it durability but no significant intrinsic metal value. In normal condition, a 1973 Jefferson nickel with circulation wear, scratches, and surface marks is worth only 5 cents face value. And even in moderately good condition, it usually does not exceed a small premium unless it has a special variety or error. However, in the world of coin collecting, value is not only determined by metal content or age, but by rarity, condition, strike quality, and unique minting characteristics. When we talk about a coin in good condition, we are referring to a piece that has been circulated but still maintains clear details, visible design elements, moderate shine, and limited but noticeable wear on high points, such as Jefferson's hair and cheek, and Monticello's steps, scratches, and small surface abrasions are common in such coins and usually reduce grading value. But in rare cases, if a coin from this year is found with an unusual minting error or extremely sharp strike combined with unusually high preservation, it can attract serious attention from collectors and grading companies. The concept of a $350,000 valuation for a 1973 Jefferson nickel is not based on typical circulation coins, but rather on highly exceptional scenarios where a coin may exhibit extreme rarity factors such as dramatic mint errors, perfect strike characteristics, or unique proof-like surfaces mistakenly released into circulation. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate these coins carefully by assigning numerical grades that determine their market potential, and even a small difference in grade can significantly affect value. For example, a coin graded as MS-65 or higher, with exceptional eye appeal and rare attributes, can sometimes generate strong bidding interest in auction houses, especially among elite collectors who specialize in Jefferson nickels or U.S. modern eras. The auction market for coins is highly competitive, and prices are influenced by collector demand, rarity confirmation, and historical sales records. However, it must be clearly understood that most 1973 Jefferson nickels do not carry high monetary value and remain common collectibles. Even those in good circulated condition typically sell only for a small premium unless they are part of a verified rare variety. The edges of the coin, while simple, also play a role in assessing handling quality, because heavy edge damage can indicate poor preservation, which lowers overall grade. In contrast, a well-preserved coin with clean surfaces and minimal wear can achieve a higher grade classification. Collectors often examine details under magnification, including fine hairlines, Monticello steps, and any signs of doubling or misalignment. These small details can make a huge difference in determining whether a coin is ordinary or potentially valuable. The excitement in coins like the 1973 Jefferson nickel comes from the possibility, however rare, that an ordinary-looking coin could hide a significant minting anomaly. But serious valuation always requires authentication and market verification. Without certified grading and documented auction records, claims of extremely high value remain speculative. Still, the fascination continues in the numismatic community because even common coins can sometimes surprise collectors, making every coin worth a second look before dismissing it as ordinary change. Next coin, the 1979 Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin, a piece that at first glance looks completely ordinary, but in rare and highly specific conditions has been reported in auction circles and collector discussions to reach values as high as around $360,000 in today's market reports. This coin belongs to the Jefferson nickel series, which has been in production since 1938, and the 1979 edition is part of the late 70s CE circulation era when millions of coins were minted for everyday use. Most of these coins are common and heavily circulated, found in pocket change, old jars, and bank rolls, and they usually show visible wear such as scratches, surface marks, fading details, and reduced luster due to years of handling. But in the numismatic world, sometimes even a common coin can become extremely valuable if it presents rare characteristics, minting anomalies, or exceptional preservation conditions. In the case of the 1979 Jefferson nickel, collectors often first examine the mint mark area. Although in this discussion, we are focusing on a no mint mark version, which typically indicates it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. These coins were produced in massive quantities and entered circulation widely across the United States. The design features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, and the edge of the coin is plain, without reading, which is standard for nickels. But what makes certain examples interesting is when they show unusual production errors, die cracks, misalignments, off-center strikes, or rare proof-like finishes that were not intended for general circulation. Now, when we talk about condition in coin grading terms, circulated examples usually fall into categories such as fine, very fine, extremely fine, or about uncirculated depending on how much wear they have. A circulated 1979 Jefferson nickel with scratches, edge wear, and surface damage is normally worth only its face value of 5 cents or slightly more if sold in bulk rolls. However, in extremely rare situations where a coin is discovered in near-perfect uncirculated condition, with strong original luster, sharp strike details, no visible scratches, no environmental damage, and strong eye appeal, it can become attractive to high-end collectors. Additionally, if that same coin carries a rare minting error or a unique variety that is authenticated by professional grading services, its value can increase dramatically in auction settings. Some reports and collector claims suggest that a highly unusual 1979 Jefferson nickel with exceptional rarity factors combined, could reach extraordinary auction prices, even being listed or discussed in ranges approaching hundreds of thousands of dollars, such as $360,000. Although it is important to understand that such valuations are extremely rare, often debated, and usually depend on certified grading, market demand, and confirmed rarity, the edges of the coin, being plain, do not usually add value, but edge condition can still indicate handling quality and preservation state. A well-preserved edge with no heavy damage can support a higher grade classification. Coin collectors and dealers often use magnification tools to inspect every detail, including the hairlines on Jefferson's portrait, the steps of Monticello on the reverse, which are a key grading feature known as full steps designation, and any small deviation in strike quality. The 1979 nickel is also evaluated based on its metal composition, which is a copper-nickel blend, meaning it does not contain precious metals like silver or gold, so its intrinsic metal value is extremely low, making rarity and condition the only real drivers of high value. In the auction market, coins that reach extreme prices usually go through certified grading companies such as PCGS or NGC, where they are sealed in protective holders and assigned a numeric grade. A top-grade example with a rare mint error could attract competitive bidding from advanced collectors, investors, and rare coin specialists, but it must be clearly understood that most 1979 Jefferson nickels remain common and do not reach high monetary value, even if they are in good condition. The hype around high auction prices often comes from rare, one-of-a-kind error coins or promotional listings rather than standard circulation strikes. Still, the fascination continues because collectors are always searching through old coins, hoping to discover something extraordinary hidden in everyday change. And this is what makes coins like the 1979 Jefferson nickel so interesting in the numismatic community. The idea that an ordinary 5-cent piece could potentially hold a hidden rarity worth a life-changing amount keeps collectors motivated, but proper evaluation, professional grading, and market verification are always necessary before believing any high-value claim, especially when figures like $360,000 are mentioned, because without verified auction records, such values remain speculative and rare. Yet the excitement of discovery continues to drive interest in this coin and many others from the same era, making it a continuing topic among collectors, dealers, and coin enthusiasts around the world.